Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at meta. It is time for another update, and today we will be discussing the extension within the area of support as well as the levels we must break for signal that this movement to the downside is likely done and it is not extending into something more bearish especially. But before we get there, I would like to go quickly through the larger time frame for any of you who might be new. And here it is quite simple actually. We are tracking a simple 1-2 setup where now we are looking to develop a third wave to the upside. And at this point, I don't have any confirmation that this is the actual wave 3 itself. Yeah, this could be after all developing into a larger initial wave 1 to the upside, a wave 1 of the larger wave 3. And that isn't necessarily something bearish. We would then be looking for a wave 2 correction where we would have another opportunity for an entry, and then the internal wave 3 of a larger third wave to the upside, which actually has quite bullish implications. Yeah, the third wave of a third wave is generally the strongest wave you can really look for, and in that scenario we are going to take it level by level, because right now we do have the potential to even transform this movement into something a lot more bullish, and that is exactly what we are tracking here in a couple of the scenarios. Yeah, in actually one of the two scenarios that we have here. So firstly, we are looking at this structure to the upside as a series of 1 2 1 2 1 2 setups that have developed in this area, and then in white, in a more conservative perspective, we are looking at this as a complete third wave to the upside, and we are looking for the correction in wave 4 into the area between the $618 all the way down to the $467 level. And as long as we hold here the 50% retracement, we can still track an impulse developing to the upside in this area. Then if we actually break that level, however, it will have quite bearish implications, and not necessarily long term, but for the short term, it would invalidate the possibility of tracking this movement to the upside as an impulse, and yeah, the entire structure basically, where we could still be looking for uptrend afterwards, but we may need to be looking for a more serious extension into a larger area of support, and yeah, that would allow us into a much deeper retracement. But for now, we have basically only touched, we have barely scraped the top of the area of support, and we are seeing here a reaction this week already. Now, nothing too significant just yet, and we will need to break some levels to indicate that this is something more lasting than just a small relief rally before further extensions lower. But this is what we are basically tracking right now in the white interpretation, where the correction may even already be complete. Yeah, we may have an ABC structure done, and we don't really need any additional lows to continue our uptrend to new all-time highs. But even within these interpretations, even within the large time frame interpretation, I have an even more bullish scenario where this is where the yellow interpretation comes in, where I am tracking a very similar pattern where this would be still a 1, still at wave 2 here, then a third wave up, fourth wave down. But the main difference is that in this scenario, I am looking for an extension in the fifth wave. Yeah, after all, this would be a third wave of a wave 3. It shouldn't be too surprising if we find support here in a 1-2 setup instead of having already topped within the large wave 3. Yeah, we may find a 1-2 setup and extend much higher as part of the larger wave 3 into a third wave of a larger fifth wave. And in that case, we have a smaller area of support that we can track for this interpretation between the $656 all the way down to the $534.7 level, where again, it is all the same correction and it may already be complete. We don't really need any new additional lows, and not only that, we have already pushed into the 61.8% retracement where we have found the reaction a few days ago. We have pushed into it a couple of times before starting a more serious reversal today to the upside. But again, it is on a very small time frame, and it is after all just a 3% candle, nothing too significant, but it does seem to be reacting to the relevant levels for the support area for the wave 2 interpretation, or for the yellow scenario, which does allow a follow-up into a third wave to the upside, where honestly, if we had already bottomed, if we can assume a bottom for the wave 2, we can look for a target for the third wave, and it would be at the 138.2% extension of the wave 1 around the $1,200 level. So that would be from the bottom about a doubling in price. But honestly, it's not even the potential that of this setup that is most intriguing. It is rather that it is linked up or overlapping in support with the larger support zone for the white scenario. Yeah, the white scenario is more conservative, and in the end we may push deeper into it, and we may even break the area of support in yellow, but it has a higher probability, and within it we are looking still to push higher, even though we will break the area of support. So we are already in an area of a positive risk reward ratio, yeah, that is positive for us, that has a lot less risk than we have the potential to earn outside of entries within this area, because as I was saying, we are looking for a potential for a doubling in this third wave to the upside. Now if we don't get it, this fifth wave may still get, after all, into the same price territory, from lower prices even, and if it fails, well, we could be looking for this large area of support for a reversal to the upside still. Even if the 78.6% retracement doesn't hold, we do still have quite a few chances to reverse to the upside. Yeah, this is a consolidation of support levels that indicate to us a higher probability in a larger reversal to the upside. Now, as I was saying, we will be discussing today about the relevant areas of resistance that we must break for a signal that at least this movement to the downside is done. And since we have formed here a possible ABC pattern, we have the possible completion with a 5-wave pattern to the downside. And not only that, since it is within an impulse, we can allow only to the 50% retracement for a possible correction in the case of an extension within a larger pattern. So this could be an ABC. This is what I'm going to explain what I just said. So right now we are tracking this as an ABC, in which case the pattern may be complete. But in some cases, we could also be tracking this as a double 1, 2, 1, 2, then a third wave down. We could be looking for a fourth wave up, and then we should be prepared for extension lower. Now, what we want to see for a signal that we have bottomed is a break above the 50% here, the 50% retracement here at the $665 in this wave 4. Because if we break above that level, well, it would be a signal that this is not going to develop to the downside within an impulse. It might still have some ways it could extend lower. Yeah, there are patterns that could be allowed, but the higher risk ones would be where this would be developing within an impulse, which would not be the case. It could not be applicable if we manage to break here above the 50% retracement, which is why it is so relevant to track. That would be a signal to me that it is rather likely that even if we push lower, it might be in a larger ABC than in a direct fashion. Yeah, we could still see extensions within the correction, even in the wave 2 in yellow. We don't need to have bottomed yet, but within certain parameters, within certain expectations. And for that, I am going to track here in orange a possible 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th to the downside, where if we manage to, or if we don't manage to break here above the 50% retracement, we should be prepared for even further extensions into lower price regions. But for now, we are looking good. We are looking at the possible bottom, and these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.